I like that word rest. Because I'm inclined to believe that Jesus is not talking about a good night's sleep. Are y'all going to pray with me? You see, we tend to associate rest with a good night's sleep. We tend to associate rest with taking a break when we become weary and tired. But that's not the kind of rest Jesus is talking about. Jesus is talking about rest for your soul. And this rest for your soul includes forgiveness of sin. It means to calm all of our fears. Includes provision for the future. But it also includes the sonship, the power of fellowship with God. Something else. When people invite you to take some time and rest. You see, that's what's wrong with a whole lot of us. We think if we get a good night's sleep, think if we just slow down and stop working so hard, that everything's going to be all right. Well, it might for a little while. But you need rest for your soul. You need something that's going to restore the vim, vigor, and vitality back in your spirit. Every now and then, you need to come to Jesus and accept the rest that he extends to us. Come unto me. All. That means everybody who are heavy laden, those who are burdened, those who just can't seem to get it together. Seem like the harder you try, the more you're burdened. Seem like no matter what you do, things are still falling apart in your life. Come on, somebody. You're not going through anything. What you need is some rest, not a good night's sleep, not to just stop working so hard, but rest for your soul. What profits a man if he gains the whole world and lose his soul? The soul is that part of us that makes us what we are. Oh, y'all not going to talk to me today. It's an unusual invitation. The promise is, if you come to me, can't promise you a good time. Can't promise you a whole lot of fun and excitement. But if you come, I promise you rest. Some of us need to RSVP this morning. But the good news about this invitation, you don't have to RSVP. It's to all. In other words, Jesus is saying, whosoever will, let them come. The invitation is to all. Well, the invitation has been extended. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden. The promise has already been made that if you come, I will give you rest. But there's a condition for the fulfillment of the promise of rest. Jesus said, if you come seeking the rest I'm going to give, then you must take my yoke upon you and learn of me. Oh yes, for I am meek and lowly in spirit, and my yoke is easy to bear. Come, just as you are. The invitation is to all. I'm so glad. I said I'm so glad that some years ago when I heard him say, all who labor and are heavy laden, come on down and get some rest. I can rest from the trials and tribulations. I can rest. I can rest from the heartaches and pain. Yes. It's an unusual invitation. Come unto me, all ye that labor and heavy laden. And this is what he says. If you come, I will give you rest. But the condition of the fulfillment for the rest, that you take my yoke upon you and learn of me. By the term yoke, Jesus invites us to accept his rule, accept his will and his teaching as our basic philosophy and purpose in this life. And he assures us that if you take this yoke, my yoke upon you, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. We can bear his yoke when we respond to this invitation, when we follow him, when we love and obey him. I'm so glad, Dr. Reed, I RSVP'd a long time ago. So glad my name has been written in the Lamb's Book of Life. Aren't you glad about it? Aren't you glad you received and accepted this invitation? Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Ow. Ow. My soul. My soul is resting in the Lord. Come hell or high water, my soul is resting in the Lord. I tell you, a good night's sleep won't do it. Slowing down on the job won't do it. You got to get some rest for your soul. You got to get some rest for your whole being. Lord, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it alone. It's an unusual invitation, but it's been extended to all. That includes you. You haven't taken the time to even read this invitation or accept it. Now is the time. You think what you're going through is bad luck, or just not your time, or things are just not working out for you the way you had planned, huh? You think you need a better paying job. You think you need more money in order to make it. No, what you need is rest for your soul. You see, I'm convinced that when the soul is at peace, when the soul is experiencing joy and happiness, that's all you need. Rest. Thank you, Lord. And I want to extend to you today, those of you who didn't know that this invitation has been extended to you. I want to extend to you an opportunity to come now. Receive and accept this invitation from the Lord. Promises you rest for your soul.